You know what separates someone who coordinates tasks from real project manager? It's not just knowing the tools. It's not even having fancy certification in your pocket. It's understanding that you are holding the fate of project and sometimes the entire business in your hands. Here's the truth. Mastering project management is tough. I am currently preparing my PMP certification from the Project Management Institute, and this journey requires passing a brutal 3-hour exam with about 200 questions, reading a lot of specialized books, and having serious experience to back it all up. But here's my promise to you. This course is your foundation, and by the end, you won't just know what project management in IT is. You'll understand the industry from the inside. You'll speak the language. You'll know how to pass your first job interview. You know how to start contributing from day one. And I'm going to flood you with real life examples, including some pretty embarrassing mistakes I've made in my career, so you can learn from the essence of this profession without needing years of trial and error first. Before we dive in, let's talk about something important: artificial intelligence. You've probably noticed AI everywhere now. And yes, we are going to use it in this course. But here's my one non negotiable rule. Don't just mindlessly copy paste AI chat results for your home tasks. Trust me, I'll spot it immediately if I check your home task at all. My goal is not to make you dependent on tools, it's to teach you how to produce results yourself. I'll show you various AI tools and demonstrate how to use them smartly to amplify your work. But when it comes to homework, you need to work independently. This is absolutely critical for your professional growth because the tool is meant to help you think better, not replace your brain entirely. So, what's the journey ahead? Our course is divided into several logical modules that will take you from complete beginner to someone ready for real project work. We'll start with the introductory module. We'll talk about a manager, who manager actually is, what type of organizational structures exist in companies, and how the software development market works in most of world countries. We'll break down the different roles you'll encounter in IT projects and map out the career path for project manager. Next, we move into development theory and practice. We'll explore the project life cycle, also called SDLC, which is complete path from someone initials idea all the way to the end of user actually using your product. The third block is all about tools. We'll learn how to work with Jira and Confluence, which are the primary tools for project management. Basically, you must have a toolkit. We'll also dedicate serious time to Excel because data is everything right now. The fourth module dives deep into methodologies. We'll break down Agile, Scrum, and Kanban. This is the philosophy and method behind the flexible development. And understanding it separates amateurs from professionals. I'll teach you it. The fifth block, and this one's huge, is soft skills. Here's the reality. The main part of project manager job is working with people, not computers. We'll explore social psychology, communication strategies for both clients and team members, conflict resolution techniques, and even how to write proper business emails. And finally, we'll look at current realities. I'll show you how to use AI to automate routine tasks. For example, on my current project, AI helped me save around 10-20 hours a week by automating project reports and intelligently delegating tasks. This is the future and you need to be ready for it. Let's start with fundamental question. Who is project manager? In the simplest terms, it's the person responsible for completing a project on time according to all requirements. Let me give you my favorite example of successful project, my own wedding. I am not kidding. I was planning it in Excel down to the minute, and everything went according to plan. Your tasks as a manager is exactly this. Get the project to deadline, stay with budget, and satisfy the customer. In my case, the customer was my wife, and believe me, that's high stakes project management. If you use a fancy textbook language, a manager is individual responsible for project realization, team management, and accountability for quality and deadlines. Think about software development like manufacturing process. The essence is to produce a product with minimal cost so it can be sold at a profit. Your job is to manage the project in a way that ensures the company turns a profit. It's that simple and that complex. Now, here's something important about using AI for definitions. Sure, artificial intelligence can generate a nice polished definition about 30 seconds, but you must always verify the information. Ask AI to provide links to source or specific books. Artificial intelligence can and does make mistakes. So, critical thinking is mandatory. Never just trust it blindly. As a project manager, you have one primary balancing tool, and it's called the Iron Triangle. This consists of three elements: time, cost, and scope, which some people call quality. You absolutely must be able to balance between these three. Here, how it works in reality. If you want to build something faster, it will likely cost more money, or the quality will suffer. If you want it cheaper, it will take more time to complete. If you want higher quality, we need either more time or more budget. Your task is to manage the project so the company makes money while maintaining this balance. If a project is late or delivers poor quality, someone loses money, and when someone loses money, that's when people start losing jobs. This triangle is not just a theory, it's the daily reality of every decision you make as project manager. There is a book often called the Bible for project managers, the PMBOK, which stands for Project Management Body of Knowledge. At the heart of this book lie four key values that you must adhere to your own work. The first value is responsibility. You are answerable for your decisions and actions. No excuse, no blame shifting. The buck stops with you. The second is respect. And this is the bigger that you might think. It doesn't matter what experience level or status a person has, professional ethics must come first. Let me give you a real example of what happens when you violate this principle. I had a particularly rough week once, and during a call with a demanding client, I let myself roll eyes at what I thought was overly simple question. He sensed it through the screen, and we had unpleasant conversation immediately afterward. That single eye roll was a violation of the principle of respect, and it immediately damaged our working relationship. I learned that lesson the hard way. The third value is fairness. Your decisions must be objective, not based on personal preference or politics. That's everyone according to the same standards. Treat everyone according to the same standards. And the fourth is honesty. The bitter truth is always better than a sweet lie. Always. Here's another story from my experience. Once I mistakenly sent about 5,000 of emails to the customers of one competitor containing the contact information of another competitor. It was a massive mistake. I could have lied, tried to cover it up, or talk it my way of it with some creative excuse. Instead, I went directly to the client and honestly admitted what happened. We fixed it together, and you know what? That earned me more reputation points than if I had tried to hide it or lie. Honesty builds trust, and trust is the currency of project management. Beyond these four values, there are 12 principles that project manager should be guided by. Let's look at first 6. Principle number 1: be a diligent steward. Remember, you are managing other people's money. Treat the project budget as if it were your own business. Would you waste your own money for unnecessary things? No. Then don't waste either. Principle 2: create a collaborative environment. You're the conductor of an orchestra. Your job is to bring people together and help them work in harmony. This is about being everyone's friend. It's about creating conditions where collaboration happens naturally. Principle 3: effectively engage with stakeholders. Stakeholders are interested parties: your customers, product owners, developers, quality assurance team, and anyone else affected by the project. You need to understand what each person needs and keep them informed and engaged. Principle 4: focus on value. You must clearly understand what is most important in the project and focus your energy there. Not everything is equally important, and trying to treat everything as a priority means nothing is a priority. Principle 5: system thinking. A project is a living organism with interconnected parts. You must see the full picture and understand how changes in one area affects everything else. Change one thing and 10 other things might shift. You need to react to changes within the system intelligently. Principle 6: leadership. And here's something crucial. Don't confuse a leader with a boss. When you join a new team, you are a newcomer. Don't try to immediately play the boss or throw your weight around. Become part of the team first. Help them, support them. Over time, you will naturally gain authority through your actions, not by your title. Let's continue with remaining 6 principles. Principle 7: tailoring. This means using the right tool at the right time for the right situation. Just as we choose spoon for soup and fork for meat, project manager chooses different management methods, reports, or tools depending on what the situation calls for. For instance, Gantt chart is excellent for certain types of project, but forcing it everywhere would be foolish. Adapt your approach. Principle 8: build quality into processes. Always try to improve how work gets done. If you notice that developers aren't writing comments or on their tasks, don't just complain about it. Introduce a rule, explain why it's important, and help them see the value. Quality isn't inspected in, it's built from the start. Principle 9: navigate complexity. Project manager's job involves constant challenges, unexpected problems, and complex situations. You need to be ready for this. Complexity is not the exception, it's the normal thing. Your job is to simplify it for others. Principle 10: optimize risk responses. Risks can and absolutely should be predicted. Good risk management saves the time, money, and a lot of stress. Don't wait for problems to happen. Anticipate them and have plans ready. Principle 11: adaptability and resilience. This is closely related to agile thinking. In the past, projects followed a linear path. We planned everything, developed it for months, and the result only appeared at the very end. That's called waterfall. Now we break work into short stages or iterations, and we constantly get a feedback from customers. This helps us spot errors much faster and adapt to change quickly. Principle 12: enable change. Requirements change, markets shift, life is unpredictable. A project manager needs to be flexible and stress resistant when facing changes. Resisting change is futile. Embracing it and managing it effectively is what separates good project manager from great ones. Now let's talk about what a manager actually does day to day. In practice, a manager is a true one-person band, playing multiple instruments simultaneously. Let's look at the roles related to working with people first. First, you're a psychologist. You must be able to listen, really listen to people. Developers vary widely. There are introverts who prefer written communication, head in the clouds, creative types, mathematical genius who think in pure logic, and you need to know how to ask the right questions in the right way to each type of person. Second, you are a conflict resolver. Conflicts will always exist in projects between the client and the team, between developers, between departments. Your task is to prevent them whenever it's possible, for example, through regular one-on-one meetings where people can voice concerns early. And when conflicts do arise, you resolve them quickly and fairly. Third, you're a facilitator. You help conduct negotiations and streamline communication between different teams, departments, and even cultures. Here's the reality check. Meetings can take up to 60% of project manager's time. Yes, you listen that right. 60%. That's why facilitation skills are so critical. And of course, you are a communicator. You have to explain complex technical things in simple words that non-technical stakeholders can understand. I need to add something important here. English is mandatory requirement for this field. Without English, it's currently impossible to find a project manager job in software development, at least in most markets. You must not just understand it passively, but be able to speak fluently and negotiate confidently. Now let's cover the hard and technical skill side of the role. You're an analyst. This includes business analysis, gathering and describing requirements from the client, and data analysis. In the age of AI and big data, you must be able to work with Excel, interpret data, and create meaningful charts. If you can't read reports and extract insights, you're going to have a very hard time in this profession. You're a manager in the traditional sense. This means delegating tasks effectively, managing budgets, and taking full responsibility for results. It also includes creating development plans for team members and helping them grow in their careers. You are a researcher. The ability to Google effectively, figure out new technologies, and read technical documentation is essential for project managers. The technology landscape changes constantly, and you need to learn fast. You are a controller. This means measuring results, working with metrics and KPIs, and checking data accuracy in tools like Jira. You need to know what's happening in your project all the time. You are a troubleshooter. Solving problems is the core of what you do. And these problems can be absolutely anything from getting access to the email account of a fired employee to resolving technical roadblocks to figuring out why deployments keep failing. You need technical awareness in both dev and quality assurance. You must understand the basics. What is Git and GitHub are, how database work, what testing processes look like. You don't need to code, but you need to speak the language well enough to understand what your developers are telling you. And here are the new roles that's becoming increasingly important. AI prompt engineer. You must understand how large language models work and how to write effective prompts to get useful results from them. This is a skill that will only become more available over time. Try to learn how to write good prompts and not just the prompts. So let me sum up what being a project manager really means. Being a project manager means performing a constant balancing act. You are protecting your team in front of the customer, shielding them from the unreasonable demands and giving them space to do their best work, but simultaneously you are defending the customer's interest to the team, making sure that customer needs are met and their investment delivers value. These two responsibilities often pull you in opposite directions. The job involves constant learning. The technology changes, the methodologies evolve, the tools gets updated, and if you stop learning, you become obsolete fast. I need to be honest with you about the current reality. The job market is tough right now and competition is high. To succeed, you need to be consistent, know English well, and constantly develop your skills. This isn't a field for people looking for easy path, but for those willing to put it in the work, and it's an incredibly rewarding career. So that's your foundation. We covered what a project manager truly is, the values and principles that guide the profession, and the many hats you'll wear in this role. In the next video, we are going to dive deep into organization structures and the software development market. We'll explore how companies are organized, what that means for you as a project manager, how the IT industry actually operates from the business perspective. This is where theory starts meeting real world practice. If you found this valuable, make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a comment if you have questions. Don't forget add the like, subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next lesson.